Sorry, Mr. State Attorney, have a seat there. All right, we are ready to go. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Jones.
Okay.
I will note that when I asked everybody to sit down, y'all didn't. When he did, y'all sat down, because he can put you in jail and I can't, so very useful power. I'd like to welcome everybody here today to the courtroom naming ceremony for Senator, Judge, Chief Judge Peter Weinstein. I would like to recognize my colleagues that are here, Commissioner Michael Udine, who I believe represents Commissioner Mara Fisher, Congressman Jared Moskowitz. How many county constitutional officers are there here? Okay, just our state attorney. Okay, can you stand up also? I didn't miss any of the county constitutionals, right? Okay. I'd like to again welcome everybody here, and I would like to ask Dr. Barbara Weinstein to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which is back there.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please take your seats.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
I've known Peter politically since the mid-1980s, and we became friends after I was elected to the Florida House of Representatives in 1988, where Peter was already in the Senate. It's about 40 years that Peter and I have known each other. Peter and I are also fraternity brothers. We're both AE Pies. When I was elected to the County Commission in 2016, I asked Chief Judge Weinstein to swear me in. He is a great guy, smart, funny, although he likes to tell dad jokes that aren't always that funny, but he will tell you how funny he is. Peter is something that you want in either a judge or a politician. He is a nice guy. As we say in Latin, he's a mensch. I'm very conservative when it comes to naming courtrooms after people. There's a lot of deserving lawyers and judges, and we'd run out of courtrooms in a year or two. We named one after everyone. But I was the one that brought up this naming. Peter is a senator's senator, a lawyer's lawyer, and a judge's judge. It would take me far too long to read a list of all of the awards in Senator Weinstein's record that he received during his 14 years as a senator, because there's pages of them. His fellow senators named him Outstanding Freshman Senator, one of two senators most effective in committee, and he was named to the powerful post of Senate Majority Leader. His colleagues here in Broward elected him as chair of the Broward County Legislative Delegation. As a lawyer, Captain Weinstein was admitted to the New York Bar in 1970, practiced as a legal officer, and received the Army Commendation Medal from the Secretary of the Army. He practiced as an assistant district attorney in New York and was admitted to the Florida Bar in 1976. He was admitted to the New York Bar in 1970. Peter worked in the Broward County State Attorney's Office and then went out and became a highly successful trial lawyer. Peter served on the Florida Sentencing Guidelines Commission, the Florida Judicial Council, and was the chair of the Florida Guardianship Oversight Board. As a judge for 21 years, Judge Weinstein served on the Legislative Committee of the Conference of Circuit Court Judges, the Senior Judge Review Board, and his colleagues, many of whom are here today, showed their confidence in Judge Weinstein by electing him as Chief Judge of the 17th Judicial Circuit for 6 years. Chief Judge Weinstein was Chief Judge during the majority of the planning and construction of the new courthouse. Chief Judge Weinstein also established the Broward County Veterans Court. Peter actually went into the family business. Peter's father, the Honorable Moses Weinstein, was both Speaker of the New York Assembly and a Justice of the New York Supreme Court. His brother, Jeremy Weinstein, was a New York State Senator and a judge in New York City. He had no choice but to go into the family business and be a politician and a judge. Anybody that knows Peter also knows about his wife of 56 years. They've been dating for 60, but his wife of 56 years, Dr. Barbara Weinstein. Barbara is a legend in Broward County, where she grew Family Central from 23 employees to over 450 employees. And there are literally hundreds of thousands of people in Broward County whose lives Barbara has improved. I could talk about Barbara and Peter's very successful children for a long time, but you'll hear from his children soon. At this point in time, I would like to introduce somebody that also very deservedly has a courtroom named after him in this building. Peter's successor as Chief Judge here, who was responsible for finishing everything in the courthouse, Chief Judge Tuter, has been an amazing Chief Judge. He has been somebody I consider to be a friend, somebody who has been really good for Broward County and has a very large legacy. At the point he retires, he's still building his legacy. But Chief Judge Tuter has been a great guy. Let me at this point introduce you to Chief Judge Jack Tuter.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Geller. I'll be brief here. First, I need to recognize Commissioner Eugene's birthday, which I understand. Nothing gets past me here in the courthouse. Commissioner Geller contacted me several months ago and asked me about whether I would support this naming of a courtroom here in a courthouse on behalf of Judge Weinstein. Not necessarily for Judge Weinstein's judicial services, but for his lifetime services as a public servant. And Commissioner Geller, those pages and pages and pages of accomplishments, trust me, I've heard about them. I know from birth to military service to his current status as a mediator, everything about Judge Weinstein, he's told me many times. When Judge Weinstein became Chief Judge, I kind of shadowed him, it was kind of innocently, really. I didn't know Judge Weinstein very well until I became a judge. I really didn't know too much about him. And when he got elected Chief Judge, we just became kind of friends. And so every day, when you become Chief Judge, well, when you're a judge in general, there are very few people you can really confide in on a day-to-day basis without expecting it to be on a blog or in a newspaper or something like that. So you become very close to people, and I became very close to Peter over the years he was Chief Judge. And then when I decided to run for Chief Judge to follow him in the role, he helped me tremendously with some of the judges I didn't know as intimately as he had known to help give their votes. He claims, although I didn't see it or have any evidence of it, that he even had to kiss a few of them to try to secure their vote. It was very commendable of Peter to support me in the way he did and to kiss a few of those judges. So when Commissioner Geller called me to support this initiative, I was fully on board. I've been a genuine friend of Peter's since I started to know him as a judge, and also to his family. Less so to his sons because they were litigating in the courthouse, but to Barbara, who was at his side during all of these things. And from time to time, I had to have her intervene when Peter got out of control. But anyway, on behalf of all my colleagues who are here in the courtroom here today, we want to extend to you, Judge Weinstein, our congratulations for this recognition. It's well deserved, and we wish you a long and healthy life. Thank you.
Judge Tuter, you're actually very funny. I mean, I knew that, but Peter's always tells us how funny he is. You're actually very funny. At this point in time, I would like to introduce you to A.J. Horowitz, the president of the Broward County Bar Association and managing shareholder of the Horowitz Law Firm. Mr. Horowitz. Oh, there you are. I was looking out there.
Good afternoon, everyone. You will find that some of my comments are overlapping with Commissioner Geller's comments because of the long list of accomplishments Judge Weinstein has. But you'll also notice that there are items that don't overlap because the list is so long. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm A.J. Horowitz, president of the Broward County Bar Association, and on behalf of our almost 4,000 members, it is with immense pride and admiration that we gather here today to celebrate the remarkable career and accomplishments of Judge Peter Weinstein, a man who embodies dedication, service, and excellence in every aspect of his life. Judge Weinstein's journey, as you heard, began in New York City from his early days as a judicial law clerk and later as an assistant district attorney to his transition to private practice and his distinguished public service. Judge Weinstein has always demonstrated an unwavering commitment to justice and fairness. His tenure in the Florida State Senate, where he served for 14 years, was marked by visionary leadership. As chairman of the Judiciary Criminal Committee and later the Judiciary Committee, Judge Weinstein spearheaded significant legislation to protect and empower consumers. His work on automobile leasing, telephone sales, health club regulations, and judicial reform has left an indelible mark on Florida's legislative landscape. Judge Weinstein, as you heard, also served our country in the United States Army, which deserves our deepest gratitude. His dedication, honor, and excellence demonstrated through the handling of nearly 200 court-martial cases and earning the Army's Commendation Medal are a testament to his character. Appointed to the Circuit Court by Governor Lawton Childs in 1997 and later elected Chief Judge by his peers, Judge Weinstein has served with wisdom and integrity. I've known Judge Weinstein for decades, and of course the great Dr. Barbara Weinstein, as Barbara established and ran a critically important nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting early childhood development and strengthening families. My wife was fortunate enough to support Dr. Weinstein with remarkable efforts for that organization for many years. And it's safe to refer to Judge Weinstein and Dr. Barbara Weinstein as a true power couple. No question about that. And of course, great credit must be given to Barbara for patiently putting up with the many rabbi jokes that I would hear every single day of my life. 75% of which were quite funny, 25% of which maybe not so much. But I'll still hear them anyhow. So to Barbara and your accomplished sons and your cherished grandchildren, thank you for sharing this incredible man with us for all these years. Today we celebrate not just Judge Weinstein's achievements, but the legacy that he continues to build, a legacy of service, of leadership, of justice. Congratulations, Judge Weinstein. Your extraordinary career inspires us all, and we wish you continued success and happiness in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
None of us could do what we do without the help and support of family members. On this very special occasion, we're honored to have Judge Weinstein's sons, Andrew and Michael, and his grandson, Matthew. They are here to say a few words, and I will say that we're trying to figure out if they will also be going into the family business. They are already both lawyers. I think there may be a requirement under the Florida statutes or Constitution if they hold elective office. I know that Andrew has already been the public delegate, did I get that correct, to the United Nations, so he's already in government service, but as far as I can tell, the requirement is elective office and judge. So that's two things that you both have to ascribe to. At this point in time, let me ask Andrew, I guess, first to step up, followed by Michael, followed by Matthew.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This ceremony dedicated courtroom 14150 to my dad is a fitting recognition of his dedication to justice and the rule of law. And having a courtroom bear his name isn't merely an honor, it's a permanent inscription of the profound impact that he has had on Broward County's legal landscape. The Chief Judge Peter M. Weinstein Courtroom ensures that my father's lifelong commitment and pursuit of justice will forever echo within these walls. It will serve as a constant reminder to everyone who enters, to the lawyers who argue their cases, to the judges who preside over them, that fairness, compassion, and a deep respect for the law are the cornerstones of a just society. For more than 50 years, my father has championed the pursuit of justice, from his days serving in the Army to his time in the legislature as a judge and now mediating cases. He has always worked to ensure that the scales of justice are balanced and fair. And since no speech about Peter Weinstein is complete without a really bad joke, I will add that at the age of 77, sorry Dad, he is finally old enough for the job that he's always wanted, President of the United States. As a circuit judge for over 21 years, my father presided over countless cases with wisdom, compassion, and unwavering integrity. His dedication to the rule of law and the pursuit of fairness earned him the respect of his colleagues and the trust of the community. And his election as Chief Judge was a testament to his exceptional leadership and his unwavering commitment to the Broward County court system. You know, one of the most powerful and well-known verses of Hebrew Scripture is justice, justice you shall pursue. These words from the book of Deuteronomy perfectly encapsulate my father's unwavering dedication to fairness and equality. Throughout his career, he has dedicated himself to ensuring that everyone, regardless of background or circumstance, has access to a fair and just legal system. Today we celebrate not just a remarkable judge, but a phenomenal father, a dedicated public servant, and a true champion of justice. Thank you, Dad, for all that you have done and all that you continue to do. May your legacy continue to inspire all who enter this courtroom.
I feel like I'm about to start one here. I get asked all the time, can you appear in front of your father? I mean, that was asked of me hundreds and hundreds of times. And I would always have the same exact response. I've been appearing in front of him for 50 years. I don't need to appear in front of him. But I can't really speak to how he was as a judge because I've been wandering around this courthouse for 25 years and I can't appear in front of him. But I certainly knew what time we were leaving for Chinese food. So that would happen. I don't have the funny bone that my father has. That I'm much more like my mother when she would go before the county commission and try to get money for the children of Broward County. So I can't tell a joke. I'm not funny. I acknowledge that. That's why I'm a criminal defense lawyer. Because it works out better. But so I thought what I would do is just tell some anecdotes of some of the things floating around this courthouse for 25 years, seeing my dad in action that everybody would relate to. So let me start with this. Before he became a judge, I remember sitting in his office when he was a lawyer, and there was another guy arguing on the other end of the line, arguing. My father just was very calm and said, "Sir, you don't have to tell me about that law. I wrote that law." So that came from his time in the legislature. And then I remember, because I became a lawyer right around the same time he became a judge, I remember being in the criminal wing and riding the elevator, and so not a lot of people knew him because he was in the legislature the whole time. So he was practicing law, but he was really in the legislature. And some lawyer said, "Who's this guy Peter Weinstein who just got appointed?" Because they didn't know him. So someone, it wasn't me, I was just standing there, just listening. Someone goes, "The guy was chairman of the Judiciary Committee of the Florida Senate. He'll be fine. He knows the law." So obviously, I can't speak to how he was as a judge, but I can tell you as follows. He led always with diplomacy and with humor. I remember walking into his courtroom and just to watch sometimes or say hi to his staff, and there would be lawyers arguing, and he just had a gentle way of calming everybody down and resolving cases. But I was really very lucky with him being a judge, not because it got me. People would think, "Oh, you know, you're the son of a judge, it gets you favors." No, it doesn't. It got me coffee in the back, and it got me a private bathroom. So that was pretty good for a while. And I remember during one of those times, I was waiting back when he was in the trial division, and we had a trial court coordinator, and they came in, and I was waiting 2 hours standby for a sexual battery trial, and we were having a cup of coffee. And the trial court coordinator was new, and she didn't know me, and she said, "Judge Weinstein, we have a sexual battery trial. It's ready to go right now." He knew I was about to try a sexual battery trial. He just looks at her and goes, "Have you met my son?" Anyway, again, I don't have the joke gene. So, but more importantly, I practice throughout the state of Florida in both state and federal court. I can't go somewhere without someone saying to me, "How are your mom and dad? Please tell Peter I said hi. Please tell your mom I said hi." The only person who doesn't is Judge Siegel, who always tells me he likes my mother better. But other than that, that's the legacy. When you have people all throughout the state, from Pensacola to Key West, who ask about your parents. But he couldn't have done it alone. Over the years, he was blessed with great courtroom deputies. He had Timmy and Tony and Pat. He had great court clerks. His probation officer stuck with him forever. Everybody stayed. He had arguably the best, I don't know if you know, but a great judicial assistant who always has a smile on her face. The reason that all of these people stuck with him is because he stuck by them. And that was an honor that I can't even express. So, really, I would say this. When I would go into his courtroom just to watch and wait for Chinese food or the Thai buffet, I would say hello to his deputies, and I would see him command respect through his demeanor. Countless public defenders, prosecutors, private lawyers have all told me what a great courtroom it was to try a case in front of him. There is no better honor when a lawyer comes up to you and says, "I tried a case in front of your dad. It was smooth, it was easy, it was a breeze." So, lastly, he always talks about how my daughter was born within days of him becoming elected chief judge. So he calls my daughter lucky because she was born right when he became judge. And as someone who's practiced for so long, I got to witness his tenure as chief judge, and it's like every tenure, it can be rocky from time to time. But he handled it with diplomacy instead of tearing anybody down. He always handled everything the right way, with kindness and a lot of humor, some of it bad, some of it good. But in conclusion, I will say this. My parents are not Peter and Barbara, they're one unit. I never saw them as two separate people. My mom was an all-star, is an all-star. But no bill passed in the Senate or a case tried before him is as important as his current role, and that is husband to my mother, who needs him now more than ever. So that is his most important role, and we know that he's doing that with everything he's got. So I'm going to end this with heartfelt gratitude and acknowledgement of someone who has a lasting legacy in both his professional and his personal life based upon kindness, humor, and demeanor. Thank you.
And finally, Matthew Weinstein.
Tough shoes to follow, and I will keep it brief because I think my grandfather is speaking next, and I don't want to take away from this spotlight. Hello everyone, my name is Matthew, and I'm proud to call Peter Weinstein my grandfather. I can't think of a more deserving recipient of this honor than him. Growing up, my perception of my grandfather was colored by his dedication to Broward County and its community, an extension of the legacy of service that I have witnessed being passed down to each generation. From the lessons my grandfather took from his father, and the lessons that my father took from them both, to the lessons that I hope that I have properly learned from them all, service is a cornerstone of what makes my family, and what makes my grandfather the wonderful man he is. I have him to thank in large part for my interest in the law, which he fostered from a young age by inviting me to visit the courthouse while he worked. I also, unfortunately, have him to thank for my terrible sense of humor, a sense of humor you have all likely been exposed to whether you wanted to be or not. Those days at the courthouse include some of my fondest memories and became the foundation for my understanding of the law and what it is. My grandfather inspired me to see the law not simply as a set of rules to abide by, but as a tool for the betterment of those around me. It is this inspiration and the incredible legacy that I have to follow that makes me proud that I will soon be able to call myself a fourth-generation Weinstein lawyer, something I'm not sure I would be able to do without my grandfather's advice and our weekly calls during my time in law school. But the law isn't the only area within which my grandfather has inspired me. He's also shown me what it is to be kind, both to those you know and, more importantly, to those you don't. I don't think I've ever been out with my grandfather without seeing him strike up a conversation with a stranger to hear how they were doing and, if possible, to shove pictures of me or his other grandchildren down their throats. I can only hope that this courtroom bearing my grandfather's name will inspire the generations of lawyers to come to be kind and to see the law as a force for good in the same way that my grandfather has inspired me. Grandpa, I love you and I'm so proud of you.
Listening to Peter's sons in particular talk made me realize something that I will know. But I will say to all of the elected officials and the judges here, Peter has been very, very widely respected. And the reason that he has been so widely respected is he has recognized inherently something that all judges and elected officials should know. You gain respect, not by bluster, not by yelling. You gain respect by giving respect, by treating people with respect, whether or not you always agree with them, but by treating everybody with respect. That's how you gain respect from everyone else. I introduced earlier Congressman Jared Moskowitz. I just want to say about Congressman, it's unusual to have a congressman attend a naming ceremony.
I can leave.
I know that the Moskowitz family and the Weinstein family have been friends for a very long time. Jared's dad, blessed memory, Mike Moskowitz, and Peter, I know, were very close. And Congressman, thanks for being here. At this point in time, for the man of the hour, the room we're all sitting in may not have been here if not for Chief Judge Weinstein as member of the Courthouse Task Force. He played an instrumental role in seeing this beautiful building go from ideas and architectural drawings to one of the largest courthouse structures in the state, serving the great residents of Broward County. The man of the hour, Senator, Judge, Chief Judge Peter Weinstein.
Thank you. I always address Steve as the Senator, Commissioner Geller. We served together in the legislature for a number of years. It's really an honor to be here today, and I hope you have another hour or two because I wrote a very long speech.
It's up to you.
I have to tell you something. I think I've accomplished a few things in my life, but one of them was supporting who I consider a fabulous chief judge, and that's the Honorable Jack Tuter, who's done a remarkable job. There's a few people, I can't introduce everyone, but there's a few people I want to single out. I couldn't have done the job without my staff, and Stacy McMenemy. Stacy, you can stand up and wave. Court deputies, and I think Timmy had to leave, but they did a remarkable job. Stacy started with me the very first day I became a judge and stayed with me for 21 years. I just want to say a couple of things. First is that I've practiced law in the state of New York. I practiced law federally and around the state of Florida. I have never, ever seen a judiciary as accomplished as the one we have in Broward County. And I'm so honored to have been able to serve with that judiciary in Broward County. So please, all of our present and retired judges, please stand up for 1 minute because we really have a remarkable proud to have served with them. Some of them have actually been in my courtroom. Lorena was in my courtroom. I won't tell that cute story.
With Gina.
Oh, Gina was in the state attorney's office. Currently still in the state attorney's office was my home. She's chief assistant. Congressman Moskowitz, am I allowed to tell the story about when you walked up to me at early voting?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the time I threw up on you, so yes. Tell that story.
So, Michael Moskowitz went to the same law school, NYU, Stern School of Business, Brooklyn Law School, a few years after me. Same birthday, February 3rd, and we became instant friends when we met. So Jared was running for the State House of Representatives and walked up to us online early voting at the Coral Springs Library. Now there's like 100 people online. He walks up to Barbara and I, and he says, "Hi, I'm running for the Florida House of Representatives, and would you consider voting for me?" And with a big smile on his face. And I said, "You know, Jared, since I was at your bris, your bar mitzvah, and your wedding, I think it would be a nice thing to do." And I just want to say that we're so proud of everything you've accomplished and honored that you're here today. And thank you so much. I always revered my friendship with your dad very much, and I revere my friendship with you. I don't want to go on very long. I just thank you all very much. There's a number of friends here. I want to mention that Barbara and I have another family, and that's our Rotary family. So we are members of the Coral Springs Parkland Rotary, do amazing things, and several of the members came here today. So if you want to stand up for 1 second, it would be okay. This is our other family. Every Wednesday night we meet, and we meet and we do a lot of good things for the community, and we're so thrilled to be members. In 1965, a friend of mine called me up and said they're having a party at the fraternity house. I lived in Queens, which means that I had to drive back to Manhattan because we went to NYU, was in downtown Manhattan. I said, you know, it's middle of the week, I don't feel like going. And he said to me, well, there'll be girls there from the sorority. And I said, well, in that case, I'll read it. And I walked in, and there was this young girl sitting at the front desk taking everyone's name. So I saw her, I sat down next to her, and we started talking. And I asked her if she would go out with me. Thank God she said yes. That was, next month will be 60 years ago. Anything that either one of us accomplished, and Barbara is a very, very accomplished CEO of a very large social service agency. And I need to correct everyone, because it wasn't just Broward County. They did the exact same thing in Miami-Dade, the exact same thing in Palm Beach County. The huge tri-county agency she ran for many, many years. Everything we've done as a team and as partners. So to our friends, our family, my colleagues, thank you all so much for coming. And I think, in the words of a movie I once saw, let's eat.
I was told to pick 6 to 8 people to come cut the ribbon, and so being the elected official I am, I'm going to ask 9 to come forward. So if I could ask my colleagues on the County Commission, Commissioner Udine, Commissioner Fisher, State Attorney Harold Pryor, County Administrator Shapiro, Congressman Moskowitz, Dr. Weinstein, Judge Tuter, grab scissors and let's cut the ribbon. I think that's 9. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, let me ask his son, who's also joined us. And it's 12, I think Mr.
Peter was a charity. Yeah, exactly.
Spread out.
You want it, Sandy, you want to get the other? Okay. Yeah. We have, yes.
I don't want my grandmother to pay for this.
Everybody have everybody have a table. This might go on the other side.
Okay, everybody ready? If we're short, at the count of three.
Let's go hold and do a fake cut.
Let's go to full.
Okay, first.
Thank you.
Okay, at the count of three. 1, 2, 3. At this point in time, we would, that concludes the ceremony. We would like to thank everybody for being here. There is a reception directly outside. Thank you for being here.